I'm Lindsay, and I'm the daughter of Sprinkled Fibers.
I'm Marci, and I'm her mom.
And this is our 2024 little recap of everything that we knit last year. But before we get started, here are some highlights since the last time we saw you.
so that was just a small little bit about New York. We had a great time. Lindsay was there for 2 weeks and I was there for the last week, and it was a different experience than what we usually experience in New York. So we've been to New York a couple of times, and we always bring Bunny with us. She is a really good traveler. This is our first time going in the winter where it snowed, it was cold. My coat alone took up 1/2 of the suitcase, and I sent that ahead with Lindsay because she was able to bring a suitcase. She actually went from Texas from a 3-day job in Texas straight to New York, and then she had the suitcase with her. So my big teddy bear coat was in there, and then it was just a little bit hard for me to video. I usually do a lot of the videoing, and I couldn't video as easily because I was, juggling Bunny, my coat, my gloves, and it was, unfortunate that I wasn't able to get very much. As well, we were doing a lot of walking. We try when we go to New York to just walk and take the subway everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's our exercise while we're there, because we are definitely eating a lot as well. So you want to tell them about... Oh, and she still has a little cough from
I got a bad cough from New York.
Well, in about a month's time, you had eight airplane flights, so that's a lot of germs.
Yeah.
So tell us about New York for you.
New York was really fun. That was like my first time in the snow, kind of. And I had a lot of castings. I met with my agent because I just signed out there like a month ago. And so I met with my agency out there. I went to a lot of like castings and meetings to meet with like clients. I didn't do a lot of runway castings because my agent wanted me to focus more on jobs because they pay more. So I did meet with a lot of clients, and that went well. I got booked for some jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
And you had to turn down a couple of jobs, so.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we were just, that's how it kind of is in the modeling world. Like, they will send you to a casting, and the job might be, in a couple of days, or it might be in a week. So, unfortunately, the last 2 castings that you went to, the job was the day after we were going to leave, and then the other job was the week after we were going to leave, and you were going to also be in Texas again. Mm-hmm. So she goes to Texas a lot lately. She's gone there 3 times in less than a month, shooting for she actually really likes the client a lot. So
yeah, Rachel Allen. They're like a prom. Well, they do like a bunch of different dresses: prom, pageant, homecoming, wedding. But
like really nice, like hand beaded, and mm-hmm. it's not your typical. I don't think a lot of people. The dresses are kind of expensive for prom, aren't they? Or do they have less expensive ones? So, she showed me, like, on some of them, they're so heavy because the beadwork, and it's all hand done in India.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, we also wanted to show you, in the meantime, she got back from New York. Every single day she had something, a job every day. And one of the big ones that she had was a runway show.
What?
For Berta. So tell us about that, because that was really fun.
Yeah, so I got booked for a runway show for Berta, and they're like a huge bridal company. They're one of I think the top bridal companies in the world, and their dresses are super detailed and ornate and expensive. And so they're opening, I don't know where they're based, but they have a bunch of different locations around the world. And then they're opening their store in LA. So they were doing a big grand opening. And for their grand opening, they were doing a runway show. And so I didn't know it, but it was a very exclusive show. They only casted 5 models. So I was super excited to be cast for that. And I got to try on so many different dresses. Every dress is $10,000 to $20,000, which is crazy. And I had about 5 different looks, I think, right? 5. Which is a lot for one runway show. Normally you only have like 1 or maybe 2. So each model had 5, which was a lot. And it was super fun. We got to wear real diamond earrings. And yeah, my mom got to go.
I was her +1.
I barely got her in.
Yeah. And that was the thing, like in New York, she was going to walk for Alice and Olivia, and I wanted to go to that show, but the shows, like, you don't get to go, you don't get to have a +1. So unfortunately, I didn't get to take any video of any of that kind of stuff. But at Berta, I had like a front row seat. Everybody was mingling and having champagne and cookies, and I was like, I had my little booty planted. I was like, I'm getting a good seat. So I was able to take video. And then it was really what was exciting for, I didn't know this when, you know, she got casted for it, but the photographers were talking, because I was kind of close to the end where each of the models would go to the end and they would kind of do their poses in the outfit, and then all the cameras are there, and the photographers were talking about how Berta is like a really big show. Like in New York City, they were saying how some of them go just to photograph like Berta. I don't know if she's just big in bridal or what, but the photographers were saying they went to New York just to be in her, just to video or photograph her show, and then they had right before that done something in London. So hopefully you can walk for her again, because she seemed really happy with you being in it and everything, and you know, you got to know some of the staff. So that's the nice thing when you walk for a company, you kind of get to know them. Yeah. And then, you know, you can have a repeat client. So hopefully that'll work out. And she would love to actually do like do one of her campaigns and things like that. So, well, anyways, so we showed you some footage of that as well, and it was really pretty. So should we show our 2024 knits? So we did this last year. We're a little late doing it, and actually we haven't made a video since January. So because we've been rushing around, you know, going different places. And so in the meantime, we have wanted to show our 2024 knits, not to, I mean, just so that hopefully we can inspire you this year to do a lot of knitting. So we'll be right back with our first knit. So we're back, and we're ready for cozy weather here. So this was my first knit of 2024. It was the Festive Sparkle Sweater by Beth MacDonald Stone, one of our favorite designers. And Lindsay made this super cute fade out of bulky. So this is probably her bulkiest weight that she dyes. And then I also held it with mohair, so it's kind of got that really soft, cozy halo. I made it bracelet sleeve because I wanted to be able to wear, I like to wear little shirts. I don't have one today, but I like to wear little collared shirts underneath my sweaters and then have the sleeve, the cuff showing. So, and then what I made is from the bulky kit that she had, she made these bulky kits in different colors, and this was the pink to lavender one. And so I had some extras, so I made this super cute Tiilda hat. So this hat was by, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Inese. And she made, so she's Isang Knits, Inese sang. And then look at this pom-pom. So I'm gonna just take it off. So please excuse my hair, but. And then I made this massive pom-pom, which I love. And if I didn't have extras, I probably wouldn't make it so big because it does take up a lot of the yarn. But I had extras, so I wanted to use it all. And then this was the hat. So you can see it does a little bit of the fade. I just saved a little bit of each color, so that way the fade was still happening in the hat. And I love all those cables. So, and tell us about your first knit of 2024.
So my first knit was the Bubble Cowl by WestKnits, and this was knit out of my Advent from 2023.
Yeah.
So this one is super fun. It's like you knit it, how do I explain it? It's like
in a tube?
In a tube, yeah. In a tube, and then you sew it together, I think right here. So this was, I think this was the start.
And show them all the colors. Those are so pretty.
So yeah, so this was my Advent, and you hold it double, which is nice, so it goes by a lot quicker. So if you're looking for a project to use your Advent for, this is a really great one, because it's not too hard. You kind of do the same thing the whole time, so it's very like mindless and easy, and it goes by pretty quick because you hold it double. And then it's like a cute little cowl that you can wear.
Really cute. And then I've seen him wear it. In fact, I think I just saw him post it. He wore it as a hood. Yeah. That's so cute. We definitely should have brought that to New York. Unfortunately, in New York, we didn't get to bring a lot of our knits because we were trying super hard to get everything into one suitcase, which was kind of hard because, I mean, everything, she brought a fur coat. I had a big coat. Actually, you brought 2 fur coats, and then I had a big, really big long coat. And I mean, that just almost right there took up all the suitcase space. And we were trying to keep it at 50 pounds, which was not easy. And then, you know, I think the sad thing with going there in the winter is, you know, like your beautiful knits wouldn't even show. It was kind of sad. I felt a little bit like I dressed kind of, you know, plain, but it's because I always had my coat on, so not too much excitement with the knits. But if you live there, I'm sure, you know, like when you go inside somewhere, you take off your coat and then there's your knits. So okay, I'll be right back with our next, I'll be right back with my next knit. Okay, we're back. So this is my Boxy blue raglan, and I love this sweater. So it's just very easy to wear. It's just like its name. It's boxy. It's not really blue, but I used, so it has, I did full sleeves on this one. And then you can see it has a really nice like raglan detail right here. Sorry, sis. And that raglan detail goes all the way down the side. So it is so cute. In fact, looking at this again, I need to make another one of these. It's so cute, isn't it? And so the yarn that I used, I love every year. I act like I've done this for years, but I would say the last 3 years, and this was my second one, we do a little trade with Chelsea Yarn, Chelsea Knits. And Chelsea Lux, that's what it is. And I don't know, I mean, I should ask her, and you guys might know, I don't even know why she named her company Chelsea. Maybe they started in Chelsea, New York, because it's Christina. But anyways, so we do a little trade of our Advents, and so this was her 2023. And then I always use Lindsay and Christina's yarns together to make a project with the 2 Advents. So, and this is what I made. So I love it. It's super, just really cozy. I also held this one with mohair. So you can see I held it double. It's fingering weight held double because it calls for DK, and then I also held it with the mohair, so you can see kind of the little soft halo. And the colors are so nice together. So I love putting the 2 of them together because I would say Chelsea runs kind of on the warmer side, and then Lindsay's pops really like, you know, coordinate nice with it. So again, Boxy Blue Raglan by Beth MacDonald Stone using Chelsea Lux and sprinkled fibers.
I almost asked what it was called again. What's mine called? Oh, wait, I made it. Okay,
And we're back. I haven't even had any coffee. I don't know why I'm so hyper.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this shrug, I made, apparently, I don't even remember making this.
She asked me who made it and what the name was. And I was like, you made that and that's your design.
So I made this design, and this was out of my bulky kit that I made for Valentine's Day last year. And it's super cute. This is like, again, the same chunky yarn that my mom just like showed that she made her sweater out of, the first one. And it's probably like the thickest yarn that I dye. So it's pretty long, but that's what makes it such a cute slouchy shrug. And these are all the different colors, and I just did like a solid section and then a stripe section and just sort of faded it down. And yeah, this was a super fast knit because it's chunky and just pretty much you're just knitting, so stocking knit.
And then so she started at the top where it's narrower, and then you just kept increasing?
Yeah, increasing.
So that way it fits over your shoulders nice. And someone just recently asked us to send them the pattern, and they had gotten that.
You can wear it as a cowl, I guess, but then also make it like a little shrug.
Yeah, that's so cute. Again, I wish I would have had that in New York. And so with the patterns that we kind of designed, and they're very easy, okay, you could probably make it up yourself, but we only are giving those patterns out with the kits right now. We tried to make it kind of like a fun exclusive. So anyways, they're not on Ravelry, and they're not for sale, you know. Okay, and then for me, and it doesn't really go great with this t-shirt, but I made this is my WestKnits 2023 mystery knit along, and I finished it kind of in early. His mystery knit alongs are always in October, but I just get so busy with the holidays and everything, and so I didn't finish it. So I started it in October, but then I finished it in the new year. So I'm going to take it off because it's so pretty in the back. So you start with this really beautiful kind of like, I guess, diamond shape. And it's actually made out of 4 triangles that you make separately. And then you make, 4 different triangles that you put together. And then from there you go out on the sides. And then you do a lot of these beautiful stitches. And Lindsay made this kit. I love this bottom with those diamonds. So pretty. And so Lindsay made me this kit. Actually, she made kits for this mystery knit along. And so it was hard for me to pick which one. But I ended up getting this kind of like, I loved it when it was all skeined up, this pink and teal and mint. So, WestKnits. And we're back. So this might have been the knit from last year that I got the most questions about. And we ended up making kits for it, which we weren't really planning because I used all sprinkled fibers stash for this. When I knit this, I started it in 2023. No, I started it in 2022. I'm getting a little bit mixed up with the dates, but I started it in 2022 and then just set it aside. So it was a bunch of little quilt squares, and I'll show you a picture of that right here. And then what I did is I just kind of set that aside because I got really busy with other things, and then I picked it back up and just went to town, and I was like, I'm going to get this done because I loved how it was turning out. So it's the quilt Cardi. It's the Heirloom quilt Cardi by Katryn Seeburger. And I hadn't knit any of her designs at that time. So I saw her, we followed her, and I saw her post about it, and I love quilts. And so I was like, oh my gosh, knitting a quilt Cardi. So I thought that was so fun. And as you can see, I changed the design a little for myself just because I'm a little bit on the shorter side, 5'2". And it was a real, I would say the original was really boxy. And so I kind of thought in my mind, like, I want it to be a little more drapey and narrower. So I made some modifications, and this is kind of the way it turned out. So instead of being a square across the bottom, because I decreased the amount of squares across the back, and I lifted up the shawl collar on the top, then it ended up being kind of like more of that drapey look. And then here's the back. So, and I can't remember how many quilt squares it is. I mean, we did a whole video on it, so check that out if you want to know more. But I really love these quilt squares, so I'm going to try to show you up close what they look like. And they're just really, I held, so I tried to always make sure that the background was light, and then the actual design was something in pink or purple. And then Lindsay dyed this this main color for me. It's just like a little white with specks, all the different colors that I love. And then another color that was even lighter for the sleeves. And then I just made those kind of like little balloon sleeve. And then also I held the whole thing with mohair. I was on a real mohair streak in the beginning last year. Everything I held with mohair. And that's really unlike me, because normally I kind of don't like to knit with mohair a lot because it gets everywhere, and Bunny usually will sit with me at night while I knit, and it gets in her nose and she sneezes, and I think she might be a little bit allergic. So, but I do love the way it looks. It makes it look so soft and beautiful. So that was my next knit. Tell us about yours.
Okay, so my next knit was the Traveler Shawl by DreaReneeKnits. And this is it on. I don't think I ever made kits for this shawl, but let me show you guys. So this is it. And this one you knit this part first. So I started with the white right here, and then I sort of faded it down, and I've never really knit anything in these colors before, but
they're really pretty together.
Yeah, so you knit this whole section, and then you pick up stitches, and then you add on this little section. So this one, from what I can remember, was pretty easy. And what do you call it? The
welt stitch?
Yeah. So yeah, this is the welt stitch. And you just do this the whole time. So it has a little I-cord bind off, and pretty simple. A good shawl if you want to like fade different colors. And I think I held it double too, so it went by faster if you want to use more colors.
Yeah, it's nice when you fade to hold double, because then you can drop one strand and add the next, and then you don't have to worry about it showing, you know, the transition as much. I think you do that more often than just fade in on your own. Nice. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. So I am wearing, as a kind of like a little shawl. It was a shawl, but you can also have it as kind of like a little blanket. It was the 24 Birds Mystery Knit Along by Curioushandmade. And so what happened is Lindsay made kits for this, what happened is, actually I had her make a kit for me. So that's what happened. I had her make a kit for me, and it was this kit right here with teal and orange, and it was based off of this advertisement of, I think they were towels by Gucci. And so I really liked those colors together, that teal and orange and everything. And so she made me this kit, and then I think I ended up just adding some other colors, because I hardly ever stick to the original plan. So this came from that kit, and it's pretty big, but I love it. And this actually inspired us for our Bouquet of the Month club. Or actually, It was called last year Flower of the Month Club. So you started in the middle, and this was a mystery, so we didn't know what it was going to look like, but we knew that it was going to be circular. We knew circular, and we knew that it was going to be a shawl. I think that's the only information we knew. And so you started right here in the middle, and then just spread out, and I just kind of faded it from white to pinks to oranges, went back into hot pinks, and then kind of went into this purpley pink into some greens. And then the end is a really pretty, the ending is so pretty. So that kind of lace work. And I loved making this. I think she does this every year, a little mystery knit along, because I've done another one of hers, Helen Stewart Curious Handmade. So, tell us about your shawl.
Okay, so the next shawl I made was the Zia Wrap by Ambah Obrien. And so this one was fun. It has this sort of like Aztec pattern. So this is how I'm wearing it right now, but let me take it off and show you. So this one thing I would definitely do different next time is have more contrast for my first section, because you can't really see the Aztec pattern that much. And it was also really hard to knit it without like seeing what you're doing. So that was difficult. But by the third section it was like super easy because it's way more contrasted. But this one I held double again. And every section is 2 different colors. And this is the shape. So it's a trapezoid.
Okay. I'm glad you could remember that. Is it?
Or wait, no, maybe.
Parallelogram?
Parallelogram. Never mind. And so, this one was fun, but if you want to do this, I definitely recommend doing like highly contrasted colors, because even this middle section was like a little difficult for me to see. And she does give you a chart which you can follow. But it's still much easier to just sort of see like what you're doing when you're knitting, and then you can kind of see like, oh, I messed up there, or that wasn't supposed to be knit this color, or at least that's how I think of it. So.
But I mean, I know it's probably easier to knit with this darker, but it's so pretty. Like, I love those 2 colors together, and then even this. So I have no regrets. I think it's beautiful.
Thank you.
And then before we change, I have another little knit that I did. So Savory Knits made a whole, she made like, I think she started off with a shawl. It was called Pressed Flowers. So it was a shawl. And then she made maybe a hat, socks, gloves, sweater, Cardi. And I made this sweater last year. And so so Lindsay made the shawl, and she made kits for it. And it was like a mint and pink combo, which was really pretty together. And then I made the sweater, the Pressed Flowers sweater. And then she came out with this vest. So I wanted to make the vest, and it turned out really, like, I love the color contrast and everything. And I'm sorry, I'm not wearing it it's got my t-shirt underneath it showing the print, but as you can see, it looks like flowers, pressed flowers. And I don't know, I just thought it was a little bit too big as a vest, and so I just added sleeves and turned it into a sweater. So, and I think it's super fun to wear because I just wear like a little collared shirt underneath it, like a little denim shirt, or I have a pink one also. And then it's just big and boxy. And then I made these sleeves kind of the same way I made the sleeves on my quilt Cardi. I kind of made those balloon sleeves, but for this one I wanted to have kind of like 3/4 length. So yeah, so this is the Pressed Flowers vest. And we're back. So I am wearing, in the summer last year, we had a fun little summer knit along, and it was not a mystery. We had the pattern. I actually had knitted 9 of them, and it was this color affection shawl. So I'll show you, let's see.
This side is the right side.
This side? Okay. So I'll show you the colors. I used, Lindsay made this kit for me. And actually this hot pink was not part of the kit, but I wanted to add a little something different. Each of the ones that I had made, I made them with either 2 colors or 3 colors. And then I decided, like the last few, I kind of did little tweakings. So one of them I knit in DK with little baubles, and then another one I knit in, I think I did a full fade. But I tried to do a little bit something different with each one because I was kind of experimenting. This is one of the first shawls that I ever made. So, and it's super cute. And Veera, it's by Veera Valamaki, and she's from Denmark. I'm pretty sure she's from Denmark, and she actually did a little video for us, knowing that we were going to do the summer knit along. But I started with this fun green, and then you bring in another color. So I brought in this kind of like purple, and then I went into this kind of like multi. So you can see, if I step back, you can see you start with the first wedge. It's kind of like this green wedge, and then you stripe, and you see how it's not, it's like not straight across because the first wedge is kind of curved, and so it just keeps growing. And then I just added, because we have a lot of stash from Lindsay's dyeing, so I just added this fun pink edge with the little picots. So that was our summer mystery knit along, or summer knit along, and this is the Color Affection shawl by Veera Valamaki. What are you wearing?
I'm wearing this fall fade cowl that I designed. So we sold some fall fade kits this past fall, and we were offering 2 different patterns for the kit. And so this was the first one I designed. It's a little cowl, and these were just sample colors. So these weren't the actual colors of the fall kit. But it's cabled, so hopefully you can see that. But I basically just faded it from black and increased it a little bit along the way to this very hot pink. And so yeah, so this is very easy, and we sold this, and then later on I'll show you the shawl version of it. And then I think we did end up making kits in these colors later on.
Yeah, for the winter.
For the winter.
But this is an example of, she designed this, and then it was a free pattern with the kit. So it's not for sale as of right now, and also it's just kind of like her own little design. She's not a published designer or anything like that, so we don't have like designs on Ravelry. But if you bought the kit and you have any questions, I'm sure she'd be happy to help you. And then for me, I have on my Summer Breeze Slipover. So this was another kit that Lindsay did. Actually, it was called the Bunny Box, and we're gonna hopefully have a bunny box again this year. We have to figure out all the details, but so this was from the Bunny Box, the 2024 Bunny Box, and I love all these colors. And so Anna from Mauritius, I hope I got that right, she designed this, and it's so cute. It's the Summer Breeze Slipover, and you can see all those cute little slipovers create this really cute lace. And then the top, you start with these shoulders, which was really fun. It was a really unique design, and I loved knitting it. So, and then also, so she knit this, and I was gonna knit another one, but I ran out of time over that summer. But if you go on her Ravelry, she's knitting in Mauritius, and her name's Anna. And so this was one of the designs she made using the Bunny Box. So it was fun to see. So I am wearing my next knit, and it is the Halloween Mystery Knit Along. by one of our favorite designers, Stephanie, from Tellybeans Knits, and she makes such fun mystery knit-alongs every year. I had made her 2023 mystery knit-along, the Halloween one that she did, and I loved making it. So then I also made her Halloween, and then she had another one this year, and so we made kits for it. And this kit, what happened is I sold my kit. That's what happened. We accidentally sold the last kit, which was supposed to be for me, so we just decided I'll just make up something from our stash. So I made it in colors that I normally don't really knit with together, like, and it's not super Halloween-ish, but it's more fall, and I loved the end product. So what it is you started with, and I can't remember all the different clues, but like this is supposed to be witches tights, and then you go into the different, I think maybe broomsticks and cobwebs and things like that. But I used this sort of like pinky tan and burgundy and black, and then I tried to use this bright coral throughout. And I loved it. And then isn't this so cute how she ended it? She made this edging, and then every so often you made a little fringe, and then it's supposed to look like witches' brooms. And it was so cute. She has the cutest designs. And so this was the Halloween Mystery Knit-Along. And then also that October I finished the Lace and Fade Boxy. So I had made this using Lindsay's Summer Shells box, which I loved those colors. So they were kind of like more fall. And then I had her make for me this kind of like pinky tan to be the sleeves and the shoulders. So I love this sweater. I have not worn it because I really want to redo the neck. So as you can see on the neck, the bind off, I just did a regular bind off, and I want to take that out and I want to do the tubular bind off because it makes it a little tighter. And as you can see from this, it's a little bit loose. But this sweater was really fun to fade and make. So you're supposed to use lace weight mohair in between like some of the sections, but I just kind of made it like using all the different colors, and I tried not to fade them. I tried to make them like different, you know, I think I even just randomly picked them. Sorry. So, and it's kind of a boxy, it's just lightweight boxy, and it has these little sleeves. These little sleeves are so funny when you have, when you're folding this sweater up, it's like these little T-Rex cuffs, like your arms are going to be like this. But anyways, so this one was fun, and we'll be back with our next one.
Okay, so the next thing that I knit was the matching shawl to the cowl that I just showed you. So this is it, and I did the same colors for the sample. And the theme for the two patterns was like cables. So this one has a long cable running on the edge of it, you can see. So I did the same color. So I started with the black on this end, and I faded it, and it's super simple and easy shawl, and it has the same cable running all the way across until I ended with this pink.
Cute. And what shape is that?
This is a trapezoid, trapezoid.
That's a trapezoid. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Our geometry is coming through. And then that cable at the bottom was really, it was actually a really cute design. For those of you that have never cabled before, this would be a great first project.
Yeah, and the nice thing with this one, well, both of them really, is you can make it as long as you want. So it doesn't really matter. The main body section is sort of just like a rectangle, so you can go like as long or as short as you want depending on how much yarn you have. So, yeah.
And then from that fall fade, you should be able to make both the cowl and this shawl. Mm-hmm. And then as well, if you bought the winter fade, which were actually those colors, you could make both projects. Probably just make the shawl a little bit shorter. So that way you could get, you know, enough. Cute. And then I'm wearing one of my last minute knits. So actually it's a crochet, not a knit. So it's the Juniper Cowl by tlyarncrafts. And so this is the second one I made. The first one I made was just from stash, and my friend is a crocheter, and so I just asked her to help me with the main stitch, which is the puff stitch. And as you can see, you just do the puff stitch throughout the whole thing, and you increase every, I can't remember how many, but you just increase every so often, and it makes it a little wider. And so I just had, as usual, a lot of beautiful sprinkled fibers stash. And so I just wanted to make this, and I made it super fast. It was so fun. I'm not a crocheter, so this was fun to learn, and it was really easy, but you can see how it grows. And then that way it ends up being like a nice little edge, you know, along your shoulders. And so then what I did is one day we were at the beach and I didn't bring my knitting, which is like tragic because I love to knit at the beach. So we just popped into one of their, in San Clemente, they have a little yarn store. And so I got this, it's a Noro, and I can't remember the name of the Noro, but it's one of their, I would call it like kind of a worsted weight, but I loved it because it was a brown, and I had like some brown boots that I was trying to make a little accessory for. So I made it out of that, and it was fun.
So the next thing that I knit was the Sprinkled Snowflake by Beth MacDonald Stone. So this was the pattern that we included in our Advent kit last year for 2024, and she designed this especially for us. And so I knit a sample before I dyed the Advent, so I could see sort of like what colors I wanted to do. So these are just like scrap yarn, stash yarn. Yeah, stash from Sprinkled Fibers. So this is not the Advent colors yet, but this is it so far. So super cute. If you knit this, you know that has a really cute snowflake pattern. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Has all the different points and little baubles attached.
So cute.
And so after knitting this, I sort of knew how I wanted to dye my Advent. And then it ends with this really pretty lace border. So this one's also super fun. I did this one twice, and you hold it double so it goes by super fast. So if you have an Advent kit that you are looking for a pattern to use it for, this is a great one.
Yeah, because that's available now on Ravelry. So we, Beth designed it for our Advent, and it came with the Advent as a free pattern. And then I think starting January, she made it available for purchase on Ravelry. So, and I love the design she made. It was so, you know, it was a perfect design for showing off the fade, but then also having this lace edge border was great for the full skein. So it was really nice. I love it. And I love the sample too, even though it wasn't like planned or anything. And then I am wearing my Merrymaking mystery knit along. So again, Tellybeans, who I love her designs. She always makes the Halloween mystery knit along, and then this was her first year doing a little Christmas themed one. So if you watched our Vlogmas, I was making this throughout Vlogmas, and I love how it's easy. It's like just use one little you know, like, well, you don't even use a full mini each day, but for the first 12 days of December, you just knit a little bit each night. And so I don't remember all the names of them, but like this is Deck the Halls, and then Santa's, or maybe Down the Chimney, and Christmas lights. But Lindsay made these kits, and they were just so fun. So I did a little extra, I think, on this border. I think it was supposed to end a little bit earlier than these, but I wanted it to kind of look like a little sweater. And then I love this pink and green together for the, I think she called it candy cane or something like that. So super fun. I love her design of, it's like a cowl, but then when you wear it, it kind of looks like a little handkerchief. So it's a really cute design, and she makes such cute little motifs. So
okay, so the last thing that I knit for 2024 is my Advent shawl. So this is the same shawl that I just showed, but in my actual Advent colors. So this is it on, and then let me take it off to show you. This is it. Sprinkle Fibers 2024 Advent and custom made Advent shawl. So our theme
I love those colors.
This last year, as you probably know, was gingerbread. So that's why it has the little gingerbread section in it. And for this one, I think I talked about this in another video, but I ended up not really using my full skein. I just kind of used it for the I-cord bind off. But I think everyone's will be different. I think some people did end up using it for the lace section, but I didn't.
I love how, I mean, everybody probably did theirs a little bit different, because you could increase right before this border, so that way the whole border was just the full skein. But I love that little, how you just made the edge that full skein. So really pretty. And I didn't think I would like, well, I didn't know if I would like the Advent as much as I liked the sample, because I loved your sample. It was really pretty, but I think I do love your Advent colors better.
Thank you.
And then for me, can you hold my baby?
Baby, you're so sleepy.
She's had a really rough day of sunning all day. So for me, my last knit of 2024 was our Flower of the Month Club Anthology throw. So, and I'm actually wearing the t-shirt. This was a t-shirt sample. It wasn't the actual. This was the sweatshirt. She's wearing it. So if you are new to us, we had a little club last year, and it was our first year having it. And we made flowers each month. So each month you got a different flower. There was a little inspo pick, and then you got a little flower skein. And then we, when I say we, I'm not even sure how many of you did it with us, but I know there was quite a few. Some of you were a part of the club but didn't make the anthology throw because maybe you've made it before or you wanted to do something else. I mean, I think someone made socks every month from each skein, which is really fun to have 12 pairs of socks. So, but this is it's a big circle, so I'm only going to show you the half circle, and it looks like this. So, woo! And Lindsay posted the reel today of Bunny sunning herself laying on it, and she loves it. So we have this on our couch, and she loves to cuddle up with it. But I'm gonna try to remember all the colors. So it started in January with the hydrangea, and then it went into the peony, into the cherry blossom, into the ranuncula, the hyacinth, daffodils, and then we went into kind of a little bit of a fade. So it went into hibiscus, into tulips, into cabbage roses, lily of the valley, and then the last one was the
Water lily.
Water lily, yeah. And I just loved making this, and I hope if you made it as well. I know I just saw recently on our feed someone else made it and just posted it. So I love seeing that you guys made it as well. And if you are part of the Bouquet of the Month Club this year, we're having fun, and we're so sorry that February was a little late. Hopefully you've gotten it by now. I haven't even started mine yet. I've started my blanket. It's the Melting Marl, but I haven't added my February. So you're not behind if you're trying to stay kind of on track with us. So you're doing good. that should be shipping. That actually shipped. February shipped, and actually we're going to start dyeing up the March this weekend. So, and that inspo pick to come. Okay, well, I think that's it. That was a lot of fun going through our knits, and it makes me want to make some of the things again, but I really am going to try to hold back because I want to make new things. That's the problem with this. When we did this last year, I was like, oh, I want to make another one of those because I just love thinking of more color combos, but I have to stop myself because there's so many other great patterns out there. So hopefully you enjoyed it as well, and we'll see you. Our next video is going to come pretty soon because we have a little spring fling shop update for you since we didn't have anything for February with all the traveling. So that'll be fun.
Okay, well, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.